Hey guys, I'm the Burke, and I do things.
You didn't even do it.
This is the last video here that we're filming.
Where are we?
First of all, the washing machine's on, so you might hear that in the background of this entire video, so that was my bad.
If you do, it's real life.
But we are on a time crunch today because we are basically in between settlements today.
We have 2 hours.
Who knows how long we'll talk?
We're not gonna do it this
Anyway, today is the...
You always get mad at me when I talk too much. See, like right now you're getting mad at me.
Today is the much anticipated moving video with all the tea. So, if you want the moving tea, keep on watching. Let's go. All right, you have your notes, I have my notes. Okay, we did not collaborate on each other's notes, so I don't know what he wrote and he don't know. He doesn't know what I wrote. We're gonna kind of start off with, goodness gracious, spilling all the tea on why we wanted to get out of this place.
Okay.
Because there's been a lot that we haven't talked about for both doxing reasons and for in case somebody in the neighborhood ever found this video. That would be really awkward. But now we're moving, so it doesn't matter. So, I've never like said some of the stuff about this house that we don't like because of like various reasons.
Okay.
What is the first reason you put on your list as to why we're moving? You can go first.
I have to find it.
What?
I forget where I put it. Anyway, the first reason as to why we're moving has to be the guns.
Shooting range.
The guns.
Jinx.
Jinx.
Yeah, so something we did not know when we bought this house is we live directly next to a private shooting range that you don't know from the main road or anywhere that it's
Pretty
there.
sure it's called a sports. I'll look it up.
I don't know, but Saturday, Sunday, and Wednesdays, you just hear all day long. Like
it's called a sportsman association.
Like when I'm putting my child to sleep.
Yes.
The guns are blaring.
Yes.
And that's concerning to me for multiple reasons. One, I don't think she should become immune to the sound of gunfire for so many reasons. But also, you had an experience. Would you like to share your experience?
At work, I was going for a walk outside, and we heard some pop, 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 popping, and I thought nothing of it because we hear it all the time. Bang, bang, we hear it all the time. And about, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes later, we were called to say that we needed to come back to shelter in place because there was a shooting not too far from...
Like a murder.
Yes.
Not just like a shooting, like a full-on murder.
Yeah.
And yeah, it wasn't something we knew, and having a kid here, it just became more and more like uncomfortable. And like I said, like when I put her to bed at night, like you can hear the guns, and that's just weird. So that was a big reason we didn't want to live here forever.
Yeah. Not only that, there's another noise. The neighbors near us, they have fireworks all the time. They just have fireworks all the time. What?
That's not here though. That's over.
But it affects us and we can hear it.
My parents say they have fireworks around them too. I just think people just randomly do fireworks now, and that's rude.
Yeah, but it's so much fireworks.
So, since you don't have a list, I guess we'll be going through exclusively my list. My next thing on the list was...
Is that why we're moving?
the shared of the walls.
Yeah,
now...
Another noise.
We didn't know when we were listing our house that our loud neighbors were actually going to be moving too. However, that being said, like the walls that like Phoebe shared, you could hear through them. And like you could hear when the dad yelled at his kids. And something even weirder is all 3 bathrooms in this house, you can like hear into the other house. So you assume they can hear us back.
100%.
And something that always made me super uncomfortable is like very frequently Phoebe, when she has some of her bigger tantrums, are either like potty or bath related. So they're like in the bathroom, and I'm always like, she can't even have privacy to like let out her emotions right now without like thinking like, oh God, the neighbors are listening to her. Like that's so weird. Like I don't like the lack of. I think she deserves more privacy.
It's not that they're intentionally listening. It's just that we're so close. Like there's no way to be a little bit loud and express your emotions and have any sort of privacy, just like you're saying. What were you saying? The 3 walls?
3 bathrooms.
The 3 bathrooms.
You can hear in all 3 bathrooms.
Yes.
Okay. Next, lack of privacy, especially with kids. I don't know. I guess like inevitably being in a townhome, there's not a lot of privacy, but
there are pros and cons. Like it's nice to a lot of the kids have a lot of kids friends, like friends within the neighborhood, and you can kind of, oh hey, you know, let's go play and let's run around together, and that's really cute and that's cool and all. But like, if you don't want that, then you don't have a choice to not be in everyone's face.
Our deck where Phoebe plays, from our deck, there's 4 decks here, there's like 4 decks here, there's a deck right now. Like there's just everybody's on top of each other, and like it's a lot. Like I think there's a difference between like having your own backyard and like other backyards nearby versus like everyone's like backyard area being like on top of each other, and like so many houses.
Yeah. Like our neighbor put out his sprinkler and it's like on our property, and I don't care, but like at the same time,
there's no clear defined property lines here.
He would probably say that that's his property, and we'll say that that's our property. And you know, I don't care necessarily that like it's, you know, our property, blah, 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 whatever. But like if I wanted to like we were playing if we wanted to play a game like we were playing baseball, then you know I have to watch out because there is a sprinkler sticking up, you know, right there where we're playing. And then again, it's about like privacy and noise and stuff. And like if we're playing outside and like I don't know, Phoebe falls down or whatever, and then she's like getting upset, then it's like I just feel like everyone's relaxing and sitting outside, and
like the entire neighborhood is watching us. It's weird. It's weird.
Is watching
us.
Like
it. It's too much.
Take care of our kid. And
all right. Next is the fact that we don't have a backyard. When we bought this house, it was always supposed to kind of be like our starter home, and like eventually we'd get someplace with a backyard. And there was like a point where there were like a couple times where I would just cry because I was like, we're never going to be able to leave this house. We're going to forever be stuck in this house. This was not supposed to be our forever home. And like, it was very scary. But yes, where we're moving, we'll be having a backyard, which is a big plus for us. Because not only like for Phoebe, but being here in an HOA, which the HOA was my next thing on the list, is like they're very specific about like gardens and like you can't like grow food and like stuff like that here, and they're very particular about all the land and how the land is handled and stuff. So like you've wanted to like grow tomatoes for like 25 years it feels like now, so like now you can grow your tomatoes.
The last 2 summers.
But the backyard and HOA.
But you can, to be fair, you can grow stuff.
But not in your garden. You're not allowed to grow food in your garden.
Right, which is why we got rid of ours, and they gave us a hard time about that. Not really a hard time, but they're like...
They basically were like, you're going to regret it.
But the lawn... They were like, the lawnmower is going to like mess up your house. And we're like, why would the lawnmower mess up our house? Like...
As if no one has grass next to their home.
Yeah, like, anyway. Yeah, in the history of the world, yeah. So anyway.
The next thing on my list was the layout of our house cannot ever be changed or expanded on. Both because we're in a townhome and the specific way it's designed, and also because it's an HOA, there's no like the most we could do for expansion was like deck. That was it. It's like a very finite amount of things that we could change about this house just because we're in an HOA and we're in a townhome. There's no like way to like see the future. All you could really change is like paint colors or a floor color.
What did you want to do?
Well, I'm saying because this first floor, the way it's laid out is terrible. Like it's only one room with like a random thing versus like in our coming home, like we see potential for like different things we could change about it, but there's nothing we could change here to make this more open.
Well, that's just the design of the house.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
But also, I'm also saying, in order to make this more... In order to make this more open, there's no way to do it because you can't bulldoze this down because that's where the steps are, and you can't bulldoze down the wall because we're in an HOA. I'm saying there's no way to change anything about this house inevitably just because of the way it is. Versus, not only is the house we're moving to more open, but you can make changes. That's
you're saying we have ideas.
This house is terrible, and I feel like you're not giving it the credit that's due to say how terrible.
This is a shit on this house video. If you came here for positivity, go to the next video. We'll have a positive video. Right?
Sure.
Why we should have stayed. Is that the next video?
There's no reason. Okay, all right. The next thing is a kind of a phrase. This place never really felt like our home, and all changes we ever made to this house, with the exception of Phoebe's bedroom, were to be able to resell the house. So like the things we did, we redid the floor in the basement. We added on the deck. We put in a nice hot water heater. We painted all the walls white. Like we never did anything that was like,
Booty!
Awake? Where were we? We were talking about that we never changed anything except things to sell the house. But I'm saying like we never like made the kitchen like the color scheme we would want, because like changing the amount of money that would have gone into changing the kitchen wouldn't have changed the resale value of the house. So we only put money into things that would like help with reselling the house. Okay, before I go to my next thing, Scott found his list. So let's hear if there's anything special on his list.
All I wrote is we got an offer we couldn't refuse.
What? That's not why we don't like this house.
Guns, neighbors, walls, HOA. That's what I have.
Quite the list. All right, the next thing on my list is when we bought this house, we always said our idea was 5 years. And there became a time when 5 years did not seem realistic. And we were sad because we didn't want to have to do to her what happened to me, where like I moved in 3rd grade in the middle of elementary school. So we wanted to ideally move before kindergarten. And now that magically is happening.
Everything just aligned.
Which we're getting to. We haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten to that part yet. We're just at the why we don't like
You're
this house.
so slow!
We're now at the why now. What happened and how did we get to this point? It all starts in November. Let's actually circle back to October, where we did a big change and redid Phoebe's entire bedroom.
Yeah.
Put a lot of work and effort into that, because we're like, we're gonna be here forever. Let's get rid of the nursery and make her big girl room. Then in November, I don't know why we were talking about my friend Kim, but somehow you said something about the town she lives in, and I said, oh, well, my college roommate lives in that town. And you were like, oh, I want to live there. And I said, huh, you did. This is how this happened. And I said, I think my dad said his brother was going to sell his house or something because my dad's brother lives there.
And then we went on Zillow and we're like, let's see how close the price is or something, like how close the...
Well, I texted him because I didn't know if he had sold yet or if he was on the market. Like, I had no idea. So my dad was like, contact him. My uncle was very surprised to hear from me.
This is crazy.
This is November. This is November when this all happened, when I was on the phone with my uncle. And then it was during Hanukkah in December, during Vlogmas. We said we're going to my uncle's house.
Though. We looked at the estimate for like what our house would sell for and the estimate for what his house would sell for, and we're like, it's really close. Mm-hmm. Like, we could do this. It's very close.
I think we weren't like, could we do this? Is this something we could do? Like, we weren't like, we could do this. We were like, is this something? And I said I hadn't been to the house in a really long time. So my uncle invited us over, and you and Phoebe went to his house.
The 3 of us. In
December, and it was great. Phoebe ran around that backyard. She was doing loops in the house now. There's 2 doors, and she was just...
She was going up and down and all around, and she was having a good time, and we got a really good feel for, like, kind of what Rachel was alluding to, that there are a lot of things that we really liked, and a lot of things that we were like, this is upgradable, as you say, and, like, we're...
House is very well maintained. It's, like, in a very good... It's in a good position right now. Like, we're move-in ready. You know, when we first looked at this house, I was the one that was like, yeah, we gotta get it. Well, because you were like, I don't know. But because we went from my uncle's house to your mom's house for Hanukkah, and it was like, you were like talking to your brother-in-laws all about it. You were like all hype about it. And I was like, this is not Scott when it comes to like house shopping. It was not like you.
I felt like we already owned it at that point. I was like, we have to.
But it was still like, we still were in that like, can we even do this? Like,
yeah.
Our house at that point, first of all, it was December. So it was like Christmas holiday explosion. Phoebe's birthday, and like with Christmas, I have to like make it disappear for Phoebe's birthday like the next week. It's like, it was crazy.
Did you want to tell them that we did end up asking like how much was he gonna ask for it, and it was a lot higher than we thought.
Yeah, it was. It was higher than we expected him to say. So at that point we were like, oh no, maybe we can't.
I don't think we're gonna do this. It was a lot of back and forth.
But I think we got to the point, at some point, was it in January? It must have been January-ish, that we kind of locked in and said, okay, we'll pay that price for the house.
Yeah.
And then it was, oh no, how do we get this house ready?
And that's when we kind of were looking at...
That's when I disappeared on the internet.
We were looking at the prices and we're like, oh no, we're going to get so much less for this house and that house is going to cost more. And that's what I mean, there was so much up and down because I was freaking out running the numbers, trying to say like, I don't think this is going to work. Oh, maybe it can.
Because the market's crazy right now. Because we kept saying like, our big thing was, even when we bought this house, the bidding wars are insane. We had a bidding war on this house and we did the bidding war in 2018. And we did a bidding war in December of 2018. But the thing was like, we could buy the house at the listing price. No having to play the game, which was a big thing. Obviously a big downside is the interest rates, which that can always change, hopefully.
Play the current game, you mean?
Yeah. Not having to do the bidding war and like try to find a house with a toddler, like it's been really helpful, her knowing where we're moving.
She knows where we're moving. She's been there.
She likes it.
She likes it. This house.
I know, we're renters now. We'll get to that. We're currently, we just went from owning the house to renting the house in the middle of the video. We'll circle back to that in 1 second. Not there yet. Okay, so where were we in the story? So we were at the point where it was like, we were in the position where it made sense to buy in a market like this, where we could lock in the house without having to bid more, and also sell in a point where our house was maybe valued a little higher than it should be. But the house needed a lot of work before we could list it. And when I say a lot of work, I mean a lot.
So it was March that I
couldn't even tell you the time frame because it was such a blur. There came a point where my mom was taking Phoebe 2 days a week and I was just painting. And I was at the point where I was like crying painting because I never thought I was going to be done painting because it was so terrible, all the painting. This is the reason
she wanted to make this video, to talk about those days.
But I'm saying, like, when the realtor came into our house, her jaw dropped because she couldn't believe it was the same house she saw.
We couldn't get her to stop saying, this is unbelievable.
Anyway. I like it was very hard getting this house ready, but once we got it ready and it was listed, it was only on the market 2 days, and we got a really good offer. But here is the caveat as to why we're renting now. So I said we're buying from my aunt and uncle, but they're buying like a new build, and I think they needed like flexibility in a move date because they didn't know like when it would be ready and when to like have all the moving stuff going. So basically on our contract, when we originally signed it back in April, because it was the end of April we signed the contract, it was that we needed like a week of flexibility after settlement to be able to have time for the people we're buying from move out so that we can move out. It's like a trickle down effect.
Did you just
anyway, so like my uncle and aunt
Dominoes,
and my family members are moving out of their house Friday. And then we're moving Saturday, coming back Sunday, cleaning up.
And then the current buyers for this house will move in Monday.
So today's Wednesday to get that all.
But yeah, they just closed now.
So right now we're renting and we don't own a house, and we have our settlement at 1 o'clock today. So we will be owning a house later today. Because currently we don't own a house. It's very confusing. And
so we have to leave in, now it's an hour 20 minutes.
Let me see if I have anything else on my list.
But yeah, we're just kind of running around the house right now, trying to do prep for Saturday. We have friends and family coming to help drive like carloads out to... And
we are kind of moving
the new house
further than we've moved before. I feel like before we've kind of lived in a specific bubble that was close to where we grew up. And now we're moving like a little bit out of our bubble where we're like, we don't know anything out there. We're moving away from my parents, which is probably the hardest because they're our biggest help with Phoebe. We're going to be about an hour away from them, which is obviously not the worst thing in the world. Worst things have happened, but it's definitely going to I think it's going to make her sad once she realizes that she's not seeing them as much.
Yeah, it's...
Oh, but I was going to say...
50 minutes, come on.
I know, but I'm saying, like, I have a nervous about and a what we're going to miss section. Let's do nervous about. What are you nervous about with the new house?
Just how much bigger it is. It's the same size on the inside, but, like, keeping up with all the lawn care.
I was going to say, it's a lot of lawn. We have a big front yard, big backyard.
They call them, I think it's ghost or hidden expenses, where these are things that, like, when you own a house, you're like, oh yeah, didn't realize I have this, didn't realize I have that. Where we are in an HOA, so they take care of a lot of those expenses.
We pay the HOA and they do, like, the lawn work and
our
stuff.
HOA is very cheap compared to a lot of HOAs. So it's lawn, trash, recycling, snow removal.
Snow removal.
Do they take care of something else?
Snow removal isn't that great.
Sewage?
And they don't do... Snow removal is the sidewalk in the street, which they're always the last one because we're in a development. Like, when the township gets plowed, we don't get plowed because, like, we're considered a development and not part of the township. So, like, we need to wait for, like, our HOA's people to, like, plow us out. And it's terrible, and they always do a terrible job. And they don't do the driveways, and they don't do our walkways. So we're still shoveling snow.
It's basically the same thing.
It's really...
we just have a little more...
I don't think the snow removal is a benefit at all, personally. I don't think they really do very much.
But the lawn care...
I was going to say, the lawn care is nice, and we're moving on a corner property, so we have a lot of both lawn and sidewalk now.
There's pros and cons, because right now, they just come... Because the HOA, they just come whenever they want and do a lawn... Whenever,
which is irritating. Like, if I set up the pool and then all of a sudden there's a lawnmower
as far as time
blowing like stuff everywhere.
But on the other hand, we don't have to worry about it ever.
Another thing is, I think the lawn, like, just when people mow their lawn, it can be really fast. Versus when they're doing lawn care here, they're here for Are you okay?
It's just readjusting.
They go for hours. Just
because they're doing the whole development.
So it's the mower sound, the weed whackers, the blowers for hours, and it's just so annoying. Just that would be the biggest change. That's, like, the thing I'm the most nervous for, because everything else is very similar. It's just a different oriented home, basically. Right. Just getting used to, like, a new setup.
Finding new locations.
Yeah.
New
figuring out
place to eat,
the places.
Food shopping, dentist, like, healthcare stuff.
Yeah, finding all that. Just because, like, we're really going in blind. We don't not know. But like I said, my college roommate does live over there, and we'll be about 10 minutes from her. And she also has 2 kids. One of them is Phoebe's age, which is nice.
We're not familiar with the school system necessarily.
True. And I was going to say, I made another category of things we're going to miss. Is there anything you will miss in this house that we shit-talked?
Yeah, I mean, as much as I said, like, the outside is not too private, I do like the deck that was built. It's a great deck. I do like our proximity to the different places that we like to go to, be it food or the different playgrounds. Again, like I said, being close to my mom, we're closer to her, close to our neighbor Mike, close to...
But he's moving too, spoiler.
Yes, but yeah, I don't think we're supposed to say this, but too bad, Mike. He's moving too. I mean, I liked having, my gym set up, and what are something that you would miss?
I'm going to miss our bedroom closet.
Yeah, the closet's really
nice. Really big. It was really big, and we're kind of really downgrading our bedroom closet. That's okay. And I'm going to miss Phoebe's room for obviously more sentimental reasons. I did cry the last night I put her to bed because, spoiler alert, Phoebe no longer lives here. She's gone.
Yeah, it was just easier that way. I remember yesterday or the day before when she was here and she was saying, what was she saying? Like, you can't, like, Daddy can't do something, or like that's not Daddy's, that's Mommy's or something. And I was like, well, actually, I built this, and I built this, and I built it. And I was like going through the list. I was like, oh my God, I really did build a lot of the stuff that's gonna
her bedroom.
Stay here.
And then I said I built the pottery
You
barn.
painted. That's what it is. You painted.
But I said I built the pottery barn.
Yeah, but like I built like.
Well,
replace the closet doors, the furniture.
Well, that's what I was saying in the beginning. It's the only room we ever really customized.
But I mean, I did the floor in the basement. There's a lot of stuff that like I did here, and we'll do at the next house.
I painted that one.
I won't miss the floor because it was my first floor, so I can see all like the mistakes that I made.
Same thing with all the paint. I see all the mistakes I made.
It's good that we get to leave.
Yeah, I don't know if we missed anything. But yeah, we're buying my uncle and aunt's house. That's the big surprise.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I'm very tired and exhausted from packing. Our entire house is almost completely packed up. There's like some clothes and some toiletries left out, but almost everything's packed. It's crazy. It's been a long, I don't even know how many months. Like I lost count and track.
Ugh. Yep, tired.
But yeah, starting in July, we'll be in a new house officially.
Yeah, so
And,
this view will be different. Are you gonna do a tour when we get there?
I haven't decided yet. But
did a
this couch,
tour.
we're actually getting rid of our couch.
Oh yeah, we're getting rid of this couch.
So this will be the last time you see this.
Yeah, it lasted us 5.5 years.
It's just, like I said, configurations are changing, and this is a 12-foot long couch, and it's just
We got it
it's not gonna
specific
work.
for this wall.
We had to fit this house, and it's too big for the way the new room is set up. I am tired. We have a little bit of time before we leave for settlement, and after settlement, we're actually going to our house to see our renters.
We're doing a little backwards.
And then after that, we're gonna go to my parents' house to relieve my parents, who are probably in agony from our child.
They're having so much fun.
Yes, nothing like having a 3-year-old for a week.
3 more days? More than that.
So we actually got some puzzles at Goodwill today, so we'll sit down and keep her busy while they probably like pass out. So
that's all we got.
That's all we got.
I'm gonna keep
You guys
breaking things down.
Let us know. Have you been here since we did the house tour of this house in January 2019? Have you been here that long on the channel?
Oh.
As a viewer. Let us know if you remember.
Some people might have been here.
Yeah.
Neighbor Mike has been here.
Neighbor Mike has been. So, yeah.
It's a good question, yeah. Do you want to see a house tour? Of course they're going to say it. Who knows, maybe.
At least a couple people have asked, yeah. We can do
house
something.
House tours are cool.
We can do one then. Says the captain.
Well,
we're not.
If we get 5 people to like this video or more.
Okay.
You want to make it 20?
As usual, thanks for stopping by this channel. If you're new here, click the subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications. I have my Instagram down below. Give it a follow, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.